Digimon Seekers, announced in February as the project celebrating Digimon's 25th anniversary, has finally revealed its first chapters. I have to say, even though we all expected a new anime after Ghost Game, this web novel feels like a mixture of tamers and savers and promises to be a good addition to the Digimon franchise. This video covers the first week, or 7 parts of the first chapter. Digimon Seekers is set in a time dominated by technology and social media in a world that doesn't know much about the digital world. Those who do know about Digimon use them as tools of artificial intelligence for their own benefits. The two main groups are code crackers and hackers. Code crackers use their great computer skills for illegal and grey area freelance jobs. Hackers are a group of vigilantes who hunt down crackers who commit Digimon crimes. The market for those jobs is on the Grim, a social network with the highest number of users. Grim serves many functions, but is also half illegal. It has its own cryptocurrency called DC or Digicoin. The main hero of the story is a code cracker Eiji Nagasumi, who goes by the name of Fang. The story begins with a detailed description of a T-Rex dinosaur, a carnivorous reptile that ruled over the land 67 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. The largest among them was 13 meters long and weighed up to 9 tons. But this T-Rex is different from scientific 3D models made on the basis of excavated fossils. First of all, this dinosaur is much smaller. Unlike the T-Rex we know well, this one has developed 4 legs with 3 claws that can tear the flesh of its prey. This creature is called Tyrannomon, and it is an adult-level dinosaur-type data species Digimon. But this Tyrannomon is not alone. He is a part of a group of 3, hunting for prey in a coordinated attack. These creatures have advanced intelligence, and they drove their prey deep inside the subway tunnel. Even though it is pitch black down here, Tyrannomon are very aware of their surroundings, but a tornado forms out of nowhere, sending one of the Tyrannomon flying. A close-range attack delivers the finishing blow, and Tyrannomon is silenced by a counterattack of its prey. His wound starts spreading like static. Eiji is sitting by the counter of a fast food restaurant with a soft drink he bought with a coupon. He is obviously struggling with money. Just last year he was a carefree high school student, and now he is browsing for freelance work on Grim. There is a bounty of 100 million Digicoins to capture a Black Agumon alive and unharmed. 100 million Digicoins is close to $1 million. It would enable Eiji to live for 10 years without worrying about work, but reading through comments, he realizes it is not a realistic goal to catch a Black Agumon. Eiji stops swiping his phone to check another gadget he has. It's handheld sized with a monochrome LCD display and buttons. There is a pixelated Tyrannomon on the screen with X's for eyes. The Tyrannomon defeated in the subway was Eiji's, and so are the other 2. He was using them for a mission to capture a Modoki Betamon. He needs to complete this job or else he won't have money for food. Eiji has a meeting planned with Tomonori Ryusenji, a professor at the Tokyo Deno University and one of the founders of the Abedin Electronics. The Deno University was established by the government for science majors who shape the future of science and technology. Abedin Electronics, or AE for short, is the leading company in network equipment and many other technology fields. The 2 buildings are located next to each other in the Denrin district in Tokyo. Professor Ryusenji, in addition to teaching at the Deno University, is also a researcher in AE's Digital Lab, or DDL for short. Inside the lobby of DDL, large TV screens play scenes of nature in an endless loop. There are also 3D projections of floating spheres with symbols for data, virus and vaccine attributes of Digimon. Eiji is not too happy with having to give his full name for the entrance form instead of using his alias Fang. Also, he had to hand over his belongings and go through a body check in order to meet Professor Ryusenji. The professor is a man in his 60s, about 170 centimeters tall, with a chiseled face and grey hair. His appearance is slightly Caucasian, and he appears much younger than he is. His presence commands respect from those around him, as the eyes of the people in the lobby follow him across the room. He is also a very wealthy man. Being one of the co-founders of AE, he has 20% of its shares, which are valued at more than $100 billion. This is the first time Eiji meets Professor Ryusenji in person, but they have been exchanging voice messages for a while now. Professor takes him to the D4 section of the lab because he wants to show him something. The security of the D4 section seems to be on the top level as they pass through several heavily guarded gates. Professor Ryusenji says the D4 section is guarding the AE's top secret project. As they enter what seems like a theater, they can see an ocean of networks inside. With servers of nations from around the world floating on islands or ships, beneath the waves there is a deep sea region. The projections are accompanied by an audio guide who says the digital world is a cyberspace that stretches out from beyond the digital network. The projection shows images of beautiful wilderness, similar to those Eiji saw in the entrance lobby. The 3D projections are known as HoloLens, a technology used for digital signs throughout the city. The guide goes on to introduce the creatures living in this digital world, digital monsters known as Digimon. One of these Digimon shown on HoloLens looks like a tadpole on the verge of becoming a frog, with a body that looks like a watermelon and a red dorsal fin that looks like a mohawk. This is Betamon, a child-level amphibian-type virus species Digimon. The guide describes Digimon as AI forms. The digital world is their home, and they span across different kinds of animals, machine or chemical phenomena, but also mythological creatures, gods and demons. The research about this world and its history is still ongoing, but we know they have 3 basic attributes, and they can go through several stages of evolution. There are 2 ways to obtain Digimon in the digital world: to capture them or to collect their eggs, known as Digitama. It is generally accepted that Digimon don't have a gender, they are neither male or female. They are born when a Digimon dies and leaves behind data that can be called its soul. While this sounds like reincarnation, it is not yet proven, as researchers still don't fully know everything about the ecology of Digimon. The digital world has phenomena common to the real world, like weather, mountains of garbage and flow of matter. One theory says that when the digital world and the real world made contact, data from the real world circulated to the digital world, bringing with it both good and bad things, like colonialists when they discovered a new continent. The 3 floating spheres AG saw in the lobby now reappear, and Professor Yusenji explains they stand for virus, data and vaccine, the 3 attributes that form the basis of a Digimon's taxonomy. Professor also says that Digimon have revolutionized human society by applying their AI to further civilization in many fields, like software development and medicine. But the digital world is still a secret to mankind, and the majority of humans don't even know it exists. And that might be a good thing, because Digimon can be misused for cyber terrorism, known as Digimon crimes. The projection shows an example of such a crime, as a terrorist uses a Digimon to bring down a passenger airplane. The video feed was coming from a smartphone camera of one of the passengers. AG and Professor move on to Professor's office, where AG gives him his Digimon Dock, a gadget he uses to deliver his goods. The Professor connects the dock to his lab equipment, and the Digimon AG captured is hololized. It is the Modoki Betamon that Professor requested. Professor tells AG that the video they saw in the theater was a promotional video for a theme park the AE planned called Digimon Land, but the project was shelved for good. AG says that he knows some people keep Digimon as pets, but for him they are just useful tools. Professor explains to AG that Digimon are living creatures, not just 3D projections. The video they saw was not a fake promotional video, but generated from observed data and imagery of the digital world. This made AG think about the Digimon he used with his digital dock, like Tyrannomon. Professor says that in recent years there has been a lot of network failures, information theft and cyber terrorism, and Digimon had a lot to do with it. One of the reasons why world leaders agreed to keep Digimon a secret is that their existence would cause mass chaos. The media would present Digimon as evil invaders from another world. As Professor completes the transfer of Modoki Betamon, he tosses AG's dock to the trash, making AG angry. Ryusenji says that AG shouldn't use such outdated equipment made from used parts, because it almost destroyed Modoki Betamon's data. He gives AG AE's new state-of-the-art Digimon Linker. As AG puts it on his wrist, he feels like a child again, when his parents bought him a new video console or his first smartphone. He felt his whole world expanding. The Linker is a prototype Professor developed, and it has a biometric sensor, so it can only be used by the person it is registered to. It can also hololize Digimon. Professor says he gave him the Linker because he wants to see what he can do with it on his next job. As Professor pressed a switch on the side of the Linker, it flickered with a mysterious flame, and the Digimon AG has never seen before appeared on the screen: Lugamon, child-level magical beast-type virus species. In the meantime, deep at the bottom of the network in the digital world, at the last coast, a beach of red iron sand, suspicious Digimon appear. The police are tracking Espimon, child-level virus-type Digimon. They find their appearance hard to describe and report. They are collecting Digi-eggs and seem to be bots. A bot is a term used by Digimon police to describe a Digimon who is being used by a code cracker as a tool. Deputy Squad Leader Satsuki Tamahime and her officers surround the Espimon. The officers are Commandramon, child-level cyborg virus-type Digimon. They are equipped with police helmets and body armor. The texture on their skin has a warfare camouflage to blend in with their surroundings. This allows them to approach the enemy undetected. The Espimon turned out to be controlled by a group of high school students who were instructing them to collect Digi-eggs as if they were playing a video game. As Satsuki tells them they have just broken several laws, their Espimon disappear. They pressed buttons on their bellies and melted into the rusty seaside background. The Commandramon fire at them, but the Espimon managed to slip past the police. They don't do this by human commands, it is their self-defense function. Satsuki gives an order and 2 more camouflage Digimon appear behind her. They are Mechanorimon, adult-level machine virus-type Digimon. They are 3 to 4 meters tall, with appearance of a robot and a humanoid power suit. They are also classified as special-purpose vehicles, and Commandramon are in charge of piloting them. Mechanorimon's attack Twinkle Beam fires out a laser that scratches one of the invisible Aspimon. His optical camouflage dissolves and he falls to the ground. An attack called Petite Impulse released a bolt of lightning, and one after another the blackened Aspimon crash and become wreckage. A new player has entered the battle. His name is Pulseman, child-level beast vaccine type. It is difficult to take a good look at him since he moves at high speed in a zigzag pattern. There is only one person the police know of to be using Pulseman as his Digimon, the hacker called Judge. Pulseman gives Satsuki a smile and a kiss, and he disappears like a bolt of lightning. Satsuki is angry for being ridiculed and gets even more angry when she realizes that the Digi-Eggs they were after are now gone from the beach. Back in the real world, after his meeting with Professor Yusenji, Eiji picks up food from a restaurant and heads home. He lives in a small apartment with a loft. There is an altar with pictures of his family, his parents, grandparents and his dog. He says hello to them and heads to the loft. He is contemplating the task Professor just gave him, unlike any other he's done before. The professor asked him to train this new dog-like Digimon, Lugamon. Digimon's behavior largely depends on their upbringing, and codecrackers who have experience with Digimon can serve as their tamers and influence their lives. Eiji is both very excited and afraid, but he believes that as long as he follows the professor's lead, he should have no issues, even though he has very little experience in training Digimon. Eiji gets attached to Lugamon quickly and feels the need to take care of him. He feels like Lugamon is a child that he carries in his heart. He asks for advice from other Digimon tamers on Grimm, but he doesn't get many answers. Eiji starts to wonder whether this task might be too big for him after all. He hasn't taken care of anyone ever since his dog died when he was a kid. He wonders what it would be like to cross the border of this world and see the digital world for real, not as a projection, and wonders whether something would change once Lugamon evolves. He gets a notification on his phone, a reply to the question he posted on Grimm. A fellow Digimon tamer tells him it would be a good idea to place his Digimon in a group of other Digimon so they can play with each other and learn. Eiji immediately connects his Digimon Dock with his Tyrannomon to the Digimon Linker, but in his excitement he didn't read the whole answer. The fellow Digimon tamer also told him that some Digimon are like dogs, obsessed with their ranking in the pack, so it is important that he disciplines his Digimon before putting him in a group. Eiji goes back to see the professor and they talk about Digimon Evolution. Professor is looking forward to Lugamon evolving, and he promises Eiji an incentive to train Lugamon to evolve into an adult form. Digimon, even though they are AI, need food to grow, but their food is data and information, just like humans need books, videos and education to grow. Lugamon has 4 plates of food in front of him, while Tyrannomon are shaking in the corner. It is obvious that Lugamon became the leader of the pack, even though he is a child level and Tyrannomon are adults. Eiji is curious about the object on Lugamon's head, a mask with a shiny jewel. Professor praises him for noticing, but he is also not sure what it is either. They decide to hololize Lugamon, which means to bring a 3D projection of him into the real world. He is big and bulky, about the size of a husky. He has blue fur and red eyes. He is very fluffy and Eiji has a desire to pet him. The professor and Eiji inspect the report Professor designed to evaluate compatibility levels between Digimon and their tamers, and Eiji and Lugamon's numbers are second to none, even compared to best code crackers. Eiji hopes these numbers mean he will soon be able to evolve Lugamon. Side note, there is already an entry in the reference book about Lugamon, so we know he evolves into Lugarmon. That's something to look forward to in the next chapters. What do you think about Digimon Seekers so far? Tell me your impressions in the comments below. If you want to support me, you can do so on Patreon or buy me coffee, the links are in the description below. Thank you for watching, stay tuned for more Digimon videos. P.S. Make sure to follow my community page on YouTube, as I also post updates about upcoming videos there.